It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good morning, Fletcher.
Oh, that fresh rain smell out there.
Isn't that nice?
It's delightful.
And as we like to say around here, I'm feeling Minnesota. So, Paul, what's up?
Safety and home security research group SafeWise released its safest cities in each state.
Safest cities in each state. I'm
That's
excited.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you can uncross.
Oh, okay.
In Minnesota, notables are Chaska at 19, Buffalo at 17, Dayton 14, Big Lake at 8. The top three, Corcoran. Mound. And for the third year in a row,
yeah,
Montevideo.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you
These
get out
all
of
feel like places I'm going to get eaten by a bear.
Yeah, no kidding.
No bears in
safe?
Corcoran.
Okay.
Maybe Mound in Montevideo,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
In my endless run of mispronouncing town names, I, of course, once said Montevideo and was just, boy, that didn't go over.
The only reason I know it is my mom is from Granite Falls, which is down in the southwest corner, and we drove past Montevideo. So
really? See, I called it Granite Falls and went nowhere.
You didn't. It's spelled granite. You're lying.
My
You're
bad.
lying.
You never know.
Perhaps bowing to pressure from finance and business leaders, President Trump has put a 90-day pause on the tariffs that were to go in effect yesterday. There's one big exception, though. China, after it responded to U.S. tariff hikes by raising its own, Trump now says there will be a 125% duty on Chinese goods coming to the U.S. Not surprisingly, stock markets have skyrocketed on the news. Dow shot up 2,600 points as of 2 p.m. yesterday.
Okay.
I mean, it's something.
It's something. My money's in the mattress, man. That's all I can tell you.
That's fair enough. I watched mine, and it was positive for the first time in a while. The National Recording Registry, which was created in 2000 by the Library of Congress to preserve sound recordings that are culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
Right.
This year has added the original cast recording of Hamilton. Wow, what a run Minecraft is on. The score from the video game Minecraft, as well as albums by Elton John, Tracy Chapman, Amy Winehouse, and a 1960 World Series broadcast.
Well, okay.
Yeah. But this one, the iconic Windows 95 reboot chime, this one blows my mind. You know who did it?
I have no idea who did it.
Brian Eno did that reboot chime.
Huh.
Oh, really?
He said he compiled like 80-some. They said they wanted something moving and uplifting and spiritual.
Okay.
But it needs to be 3 1/4 seconds long. And so he says, I just put together 80-some different sounds and sent it to him.
When you need 3.5 seconds to cover all of your emotional depth, go with Brian Eno.
That's right.
I mean, you too wouldn't argue.
That's 100% true. Last but not least, season 2 hasn't even aired yet, but HBO has picked up The Last of Us for a 3rd season, and I personally couldn't be happier. The announcement comes ahead of the anticipated season 2 debut, which is this coming Sunday.
The Last of Us is the
post-apocalyptic video game on PlayStation.
The mushroom weed thing. The Pascal Perez.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah.
Pedro
you haven't seen
Pascal?
it?
Whatever. No, I saw it. It was great.
The internet's daddy.
Yeah, no, it's there's so much post-apocalyptic television available.
Agreed.
And to make sure I was thinking of the same one. The little girl from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And the dude from also from Game of Thrones. And
the
that was
the
good.
Mandalorian.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. All right, I'll watch season 2 this Sunday.
This Sunday, yeah.
Right on.
And they say it's better. HBO is very proud of it. All of the big times are saying they're overemphasizing how proud they are.
HBO knows how to make good TV shows.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Generally speaking, they're way above the Mendoza line.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
strong.
They're solid for sure. It's as good as TV gets. Them and Netflix, kind of like a heavyweight duo back and forth.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be Netflix and have all the money on earth to do whatever you want.
That's.
How about a sports headline or two? A funny thing happened when the Wild had their 2 best players return to the lineup.
What happened?
Joel Eriksson Ek had 4 goals and Kaprizov 2 more. And they got an overtime win over the San Jose Sharks 8-7. If you like your hockey offensive, that was a good game to be there.
And back and forth, too. I didn't catch the end of it. I went to bed when it was like 4-3, I think. Yeah. But it was just back and forth nonstop. Hey, by the way.
Yes, sir?
One of the first places you heard around town here that those two were going to play last night was
right
Gorman
here
in the Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got a hot tip from a guy named Paul Fletcher who told me on air that they might be back.
Yeah, we know some things about hockey here.
That was pretty strong. Also, what about Fleury? His last home regular season game, if I'm not mistaken, and
probably will be. There's no guarantee, but probably, yeah.
And not his best performance, but hey, a win is a win. Take the 2 points and move on.
100%. I mean, it's been so incredible to have him in our net for the end of his career because he's as classy a guy as there is. He just loves life. You can see that. Not his best performance. In fact, he hasn't been real strong, but it is probably time to be done.
Senioritis, man. Just let him coast out.
You heard it.
He's just awesome to have.
Needed to do.
Even if he's sitting on the bench, he's awesome to have around.
Gorman in the Morning official hocky analyst Ryder says, whatever.
Yeah, let him go.
I like that.
He's fine.
That's a good take.
Yeah. Pens fan, so I'm a big Fleury person. And have been for a long time.
And it's beautiful. I love to see the glow. Look at the smile. Just talking about the guy. Also today, Augusta National will host a golf tournament called the Masters. That kicks off.
That starts today, Duh.
That starts today. Scotty Scheffler is defending champion. My man he's going for his third in 4 years. In fact, he's your overwhelming favorite. Although it's golf, so tread lightly on your DraftKings. For everyone going like, hey, let's go some money here. There's a lot of good golfers out there.
A lot of really good golfers, and so much can happen. And think of it. Nothing, maybe no fraction of an inch is bigger than in the game of sport, in the game of golf.
That's very true. I generally roll my eyes anytime anyone says the words bucket list. That said, I got one thing left, and it's the Masters. I got to get. That's
the only bucket list item you have left.
That's the only one every year I get a thing of like, I have the FOMO grows as I age. I got to get to the Masters. I have had invitations in the past that I was never able to accept, which makes it even harder because I have friends down in Georgia that are like, oh, hey, man, I got an extra. And it would usually come up at a time when I was on tour and it never worked out. I'd be sitting at home in the even numbered years and nobody would call. And then I guess, what it probably was, they knew I was on tour and they knew I couldn't go and it was a false. Okay, I'm glad I could work through this. All those bastards. Finally, the Twins got to win. Joe Ryan, when you need a little help, call in Joe Ryan. Hell of a performance last night. My man threw 85 pitches, 63 of them were strikes, and the Twins picked up a 4-0 win over the Royals. It's not all bad, so how about that? Right now, I want to give a little shout out to Little Canada, or as I like to call it, Lil Canada.
Lil Canada?
Lil Canada.
Lil Canada?
Yeah, I like that.
That's a good little slice of Canada here in Minnesota.
It could only be Little Canada because Canada itself is stinking huge.
It's way bigger than Little Canada.
You're always going to be little if you're calling anything Canada and you're not actually Canada.
Working through that. The math checks out.
Yeah, the math checks out. I've been in town. I'm in my third year in Twin Cities, and I've yet to go to Canada since becoming a Minnesota resident. It's right there. I got to do that.
You like blueberries?
I do.
You can go wild blueberry picking in Winnipeg.
Thank you. I appreciate the tip. Very, very happy to hear that. Later on the show today, we're going to give away some Paul Simon tickets. Dave Hill is going to be in studio, a very funny man who is appearing in town tonight as the opening act for Bill Murray.
He saw the Wild Win live last night as well.
Did he? Very well. All right, then we got a lot of things to talk about. Fair enough. As I mentioned, Eric Sinek had 4 goals, including a hat trick, a natural hat trick.
He did?
I believe it was, correct.
You guys want to hear what that sounded like?
I would love to hear what that sounded like.
Back to Zuccarello. Fires, save Georgiev, rebound loose, they score! It's the hat trick for Eric Sinek!
And then the hats just start sprinkling onto the ice.
For the record, third natural hat trick of his career. What do you think happens with those hats on the ice? I mean, you throw them all out there, everybody gets excited, the ice is covered with hats.
Dude, it's kept me up I was at a Wild game and it was a weird one where there were 2 hat tricks.
Whoa.
And yes, it was like last year, it was President's Day or
And
whatever.
wait, were there any hats left to
For
honor the second one?
There in fact were. So like some people didn't want to do it for the first one, but they were like, man, this is
who's
two
the
of them.
Who's the fan who goes, nah, and then I guess I got 2 now.
Me.
You?
Yeah, I want to keep my hat.
But if you saw a second hat trick in the same game, you'd be like, I guess I got to give up the ghost.
No, I'd keep my hat.
See?
It depends, unless it's a cheap one. But
all right.
No, I love my hats.
All right, fascinating. Well, I can tell you what happens with the hats.
Do
Seriously.
people go get them?
What do you do with the hats? I can tell you right now, every team has their own policy for what you do with all the hats.
Really?
The Minnesota Wild, first and foremost, fans can reclaim them until the end of the game.
Man, that line's got to be insane.
I would imagine so. And, of course, that's a great way to get a hat. Really, just wait and go, that's mine.
Exactly.
No.
That one there is mine. Yep, for sure.
That's mine. I recognize the lice. That's a good way to get everyone away from your hat.
That's, and looking at this list, the Wild are one of the few that actually give you a chance to get them back.
That's right. New hats equal to the number of unclaimed hats are then donated to hospital cancer wards. So they're not going to take the old used hats. They say, okay, we got 1,300 extra hats. Then they get 1,300 brand new hats and donate them to cancer wards. That's pretty cool.
They don't need that lice.
A lot of people need hats. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like we should be able to disinfect these things.
I don't want to be the guy. Hey, you know what? Without getting a little too, hey man, immunity's down. People are going through treatments. You just want to be safe.
Sure.
I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you're battling all that stuff, the last thing you need is an old grungy hat. Just throw those things in an incinerator and move on.
My favorite is the Los Angeles Kings. The first thing they do is offer the hats to the player who scored the hat trick.
Oh. Okay.
And then if declined, then they offer them to youth organizations. Wayne Gretzky, who spent a little time in the LA Kings, he leads career hat tricks 50. What if every time Wayne Gretzky scored a hat trick, he's like, I'd like all the hats, please. Imagine the warehouse of hats he would have.
I know, it's like a U-Haul of hats.
By the way, screw the MVP trophies, screw the leading scorer trophies, screw the Stanley Cup trophies. What if Wayne Gretzky was like, oh, how was my career? Let me take you to a Walmart-sized building full of nothing but hats that people threw at me. Yeah. That would be the most badass flex of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Screw the hardware. Give me a warehouse of hats, man.
I don't know.
Wears a different one every day.
That's Stanley
for
Cup
the rest of his life.
Every day, every hour.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where's Wayne? Oh, it's 12 after. He's got to go put a new hat on. That's how that goes.
His alarm just went off.
Yeah, pretty fantastic. The Vegas Golden Knights they plan a permanent display in the arena. They're just going to have a thing where they throw all the hat. I mean, come on, that's a little.
That's silly.
Got to get a little more creative out there.
That's classic Vegas.
Yeah,
just a dumpster.
It's exactly right. Just put them up somewhere. The whole city's a landfill at this point anyway. Just might as well add some hats to the mess. Hey, but those are the rules. Every team gets to make their own rules for what to do with all the damn hats.
Sure.
How about some of the societal rules that hold us back? Ever feel handcuffed and you don't even know why?
Yeah.
It's that wearing pants all the time rule.
It's one of the first ones I think of regularly.
Yeah.
Why am I not just freeballing around the Twin Cities at will? No, I've got to wear pants. I've got to put something on below the waist.
Same thing as like eggs in a studio, man.
See?
Nobody wants to see your nuggies.
A lot of societal rules handcuffing us all. Let's discuss the ones I think we should all agree we've had enough of. Man, oh man, do I not go around looking for things to be pissed off about. I really don't. I try to get through my day, and I just try to get along with everyone I meet. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, generally speaking, and then every now and again, I bump up against a societal rule. You know how baseball has a million unwritten rules? Well, so do we, just as a society.
Right.
And most of them are perfectly fine because they're in place because of decades and centuries of human interaction sort of led us to that place.
Yeah.
But there's a few, and every now and again, I just feel like society's kicked me in the shin. And I'm just going to start. First of all, let me say, if there's one that you're pissed off and you want to get rid of, let us know. 651-989-ROCK. You can call or text. How about this? And before, I know I'm going to sound like a raging asshole, but I don't really think respecting one's elders just as a rule of thumb makes any sense on God's green earth. Respect your elders. Why? Why would I give an elder more of the benefit of the doubt? How about this? I'll treat everybody the same, which is I'll take you at face value and I'll assume you're not a raging douchebag. But if you prove me wrong and you're 79, guess what? You're an old douchebag. Am I making too much of this?
I
mean, I don't know that I get that bent out of shit. They're old.
And so what?
They
Listen,
were around before the internet.
They've earned.
I was around before the internet.
If they're crotchety at times, generally I don't find them to be, but I feel like they've earned it. They've been around, and
screw that
seniority.
If you're not getting happier as your age, you're doing it wrong. That's the way. If you're not learning, you're not living. Yeah. Okay. And listen, I've known a lot of young assholes. And some of them turned out to be great older people. And some of them are just old assholes. It's just, I got to take you at face value. What are you doing right now? When I hear people say, well, he was a man of his time. Is he still alive? Well, then his time is still happening.
Now.
I'm just not, I have no time for people who are like, this is just the way I do it. Why?
All right.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I do things the way I do them, but I'm not. The door isn't closed on doing it better or more efficiently. I'm just saying, evolving, growing. You got to keep going till you drop.
You make a compelling case. I've got two that aren't on our list that I want to throw out.
Please.
Do not walk on grass. You're supposed to walk on people's sidewalks or their driveways.
Okay.
Why can't I walk on the grass? It's outside. It's outdoors. It's grass. It's meant to be walked on.
I agree. By the way, and I've always said, whoever came up with grass, like what lawns are supposed to look like, if you had just said, how about we use these weeds for lawn instead of grass, our lives would be a lot easier.
If you saw my lawn, you'd see I very much subscribe to that theory.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, who decided that a dandelion is ugly and it's a weed and it should be abolished from the planet? And Kentucky bent grass or whatever you know what I mean? Like, grass is grass, whatever. As long as it doesn't hurt my kids' feet when they're running through it, I really don't care. I stopped caring about that a long time ago.
Very true.
This is the one that really gets under my skin. Or not gets under my skin, but I don't understand it. Elbows on the table. Maybe I'm more comfortable. Don't you want me to be comfortable when we're all sharing a meal together?
Yeah, no.
Why can't I have my left elbow up while I'm taking bites?
That was a Gorman dinner rule. Elbows on a table got you in trouble. I agree with you. I was always like, man, dude, what's the problem, dude? I mean, look at I have abnormally long forearms. I need to put these elbows are helping me.
We had the same rule. My parents weren't, Nazis about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we had that rule.
Sure.
But I'm just comfortable sitting that way. Look at you right now. You got an elbow on the table. What are you doing, man?
Of course. It's as natural to me as anything else could be.
Yeah.
I'm curious what other ones. The general idea, I think about this kind of stuff when I'm on a plane, which is deplaning. It's just next row up, go. Next row up, go. And I still watch men hold the line up because they think they're supposed to let a lady out in front of them or a woman who's like, that's not how that works. If the person next to you stands up and walks up the aisle, stand up and walk up the aisle.
Yeah.
Don't look around for who can I allow to go first. Ready golf.
No.
When you're playing golf. Now, on the golf course, there's a lot of protocols. There's a lot of rules, a lot of protocols. If you're in a tournament, if you're just out at a muni course with three dudes, if you're ready to putt. It's called ready golf.
Ready golf.
I most of life to me is ready golf.
There's
just
another.
If my food comes down in front of me and so they say sorry, yours is going to be a few extra minutes. My food's hot. I'm going to start eating it.
Yeah.
And by the way, and the opposite's true. Go ahead. I can watch someone eat without melting down. It's not a big deal.
Hey,
because I get hangry, like real hangry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, and it's even to the point where if I'm with a bunch of people and they're not ready to order and I am, my order's going in first.
Wow.
I am
Okay.
chowing
All right.
down.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Hey, and one other thing on the golf course, if I have the opportunity to fart in your backswing, it's
let it rip.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll hold it and wait.
Right. Whatever. That's fine. I mean, and then if I pull out a 3-iron and accidentally knock a ball right into your leg, hey, things go awry.
I'll stand in the right place before I pull that one.
Don't expect consistency from me on these. I'm just saying certain things just drive me nuts.
What about this? Crossing my arms.
Go ahead.
That says you're closing off the conversation. Like,
no,
what if I'm just, dude, I have a nice little belly? This is comfortable, the rest of this right here.
No, folding your arms, the body language thing, that was true in the 80s, but then we got over it.
Yeah, I'm glad
just
to
saying.
hear
I'm
that.
just announcing that rule right here.
Yeah,
the other thing, the one other corollary is he was a man of his time. When people say, "Well, that's how I was raised," okay, what are you, a gerbil?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you all about how I was raised, and a lot of the things my parents did, I do too, and a lot of things they did, I don't, because that's what life's all about. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox for a moment because the ultimate
soapbox. Yeah.
I want to put let's go to the third rail. Let's go to the third rail of societal rules that should be abolished. This one, I've got a pretty strong feeling about it. I'm happy to share it with you. The talk and text line, 651-989-ROCK. I want you to let me know what you think. 651-989-ROCK. We're discussing societal rules that no longer make sense or never did to us. And here's the third rail, and I want to get your thoughts on this. There's a societal rule that we've all, whether we want to admit it or not, probably had factor into our lives at some point. It's unacceptable to date a friend's ex.
I feel like there are a lot of variables that work into this one.
There are,
So
but as a hard, fast rule, this is nonsense, is it not?
Right.
I mean,
on the basis of the actual words, the theory of it, I agree.
Right.
However, it's happened to me, and it really stings. It stings more than normal.
Well, sure it does. But it stings. Wait, you mean if you are the person who has broken up and then your friend's dating your ex?
Best friend hooked up with an ex.
Okay.
I don't talk to that dude anymore.
Really?
No.
Is this going back to like high school or is this?
No, this is 15 years ago.
And was this friend of yours like a was he an Iago character? Did he force you down? Did he say, "Man, you should dump that girl, man, because she's no good," and then chase her?
No,
nothing like
it
that.
Was totally random.
Well, then what's the problem?
I don't know.
How long
I don't know.
How long had you been broken up when they hooked up?
Year-ish.
Oh, Paul.
I know. Yeah,
Come on.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm
Okay.
just telling you how I felt.
How do you feel now?
I don't care now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and we don't. And I embellished a bit, or I exaggerated a bit. We don't talk, but it's for a lot of reasons. It's not just.
I got it.
But
Okay.
that's one of the many.
All right. When I was in 11th grade, I did have a friend who, my best friend, I mentioned that I was thinking of breaking up with my girlfriend, and he was like, "You should, man." And then he just took the whole tack. And I mean, he worked me over, and I was like, "Yeah, really, I need to be on my own again. I'm tired of being tied down." Again, 11th grade.
Tied down.
I broke up over the phone, and 2 days later, they went on their first date, my best friend and my girlfriend.
Damn.
Yeah, the Cars song, My Best Friend's Girl. That was my 11th grade year. And we had, and I did. I never confronted him. I just shunned him. I went full Amish, he was,
Amish.
and he was really nervous and acting weird, and I just pretended he didn't exist. And we were not friends again until late in our senior year, and we had been best friends for 6 years. Now, but again, I was a teenager, and I didn't even really miss her. It was just the thing, like, how dare you? Because he did sort of prompt that. So I pull my exception card out for that one.
He was far guiltier than my buddy. For
Yeah, okay,
sure.
okay.
Because that was mine was manslaughter. Yours was
it was first degree.
premeditated first degree murder.
Oh yeah,
sure.
it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, generally speaking, though, think about this: when you're dating someone for a little while at a time in life, and they meet all your friends, and everybody's adults, hopefully, or somewhat like that. That's often how you meet people.
Other
I mean,
people, yes.
you know, and you're yourself when you're with your buddy's new girlfriend or your buddy's new boyfriend. You're not hitting on them, so you're just relaxed. You're not, and then suddenly you find that, oh, I actually really like this person because they're not trying to impress me. I'm not trying to impress them. Sometimes you find yourself in very close friendships with your friends or siblings, girlfriends or boyfriends, mates.
This is such a better plan than Tinder. Just hang out with your friend's partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then but as long as you're not planting the seeds, Brooke Lawson, then you know what? You'll be fine with this. It'll all work out.
Brooke is such a jerk.
He's the worst. He was the worst. 651-989-ROCK. I want to know if you think we're being way too adult about this. Should we break out the knives or should we break bread when your friend dates your ex? Let us know. 651-989-ROCK. We got headlines to get into because, it's that time. We're feeling Minnesota around here.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good Thursday morning. It is April the 10th. And I am very happy to say Dave Hill's going to be joining us in studio. Also on this show, that's going to be, I guess about, 9 in the 9 o'clock hour. At some point, Dave Hill will be with us a little after 9. We're going to give away Paul Simon tickets between now and then as well because that's how cool we are.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Fletcher, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Excited about Dave Hill. That should be fun.
It should be fun. And generally when things should be fun, they are. Because and if they're not, we lie and say they were awesome anyway.
That's
But we don't have to worry about Dave.
That's fair.
He's good company, and I'm looking forward to having him in studio. Let's get right to some headlines. Paul, I'm feeling Minnesota. Lay it on me.
The former dean of nursing at St. Kate's has admitted in court to illegally steering $400,000 in school funds to her lover's sham business. In May of 2024, Laura Jean Firo, 55, was charged with 6 felony counts of theft by swindle for allegedly diverting university funds. She just pled guilty to one of the 6 counts as part of a plea deal that gets 3 years of probation, $25,000 in restitution, and a pre-sentence investigation. I couldn't find any details of the plea agreement. What are they getting in return? I want to see what that is.
I'm sorry. I got sidetracked with my new band name, Theft by Swindle.
Yeah, I like that
What a
one.
charge.
Yeah.
Theft by Swindle? That's the name. That's the name of the band.
I get a point.
Ah, that's fantastic. Thank you for that, Paul.
You're absolutely. Well, actually, you should thank Laura because she's the one. How do you get? I mean, $400,000 and she's not going to go to jail. I want to know what the state is getting back. That's all. I don't know anything about her. It rubs me the wrong way.
I understand.
John Krasinski is currently People Magazine's sexiest man alive, but when it comes to passing the torch, perhaps his successor could be Jack Black.
Really?
A staffer at People named Rachel McCready has made it her mission to make this happen. Her campaign is based on, quote, Jack being a triple threat who can sing, dance, and act his face off. He's got the moves of a jungle cat, absolutely genius comedic timing, and that signature devilish grin.
Yeah, but she didn't mention anything about anyone actually wanting to have sex with him.
It's more than that.
Is it more than that?
Fair enough.
Just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there's probably some out there. And
I'm sure there is.
As a somewhat portly dude with a belly, I support this 1,000%.
Okay, fair enough.
A carnival-themed bar is coming to Edina a week from today. The team behind Mr. Paul's Supper Club and Mothership Pizza Paradise. I've heard unbelievable things about both of those and still haven't been. I got to get on that. They've unveiled on April 17th. It'll open Carnival Bar. That's a great name. A cocktail lounge, it says, will blend vintage carnival charm and a modern cocktail bar vibe in the Nolan Main's development at 50th and France.
Hold on, carnival, like as in traveling carnival, like carnies and,
yeah, that's what it looks like,
and
yeah.
cheap meth? What are we talking about?
I don't know about the cheap meth. I think they'll probably stick to more of the vintage days.
All right.
Prior to meth.
Yeah.
They're talking about handcrafted cocktail menu of burgers and small plates.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be. They say it's going to be an extension of the backdoor burger pop-up that occasionally was inside Po' Boys, which was the place before that.
I like cocktails. I like burgers. I like small plates.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 3 for 3 right there.
There you go.
It's working for me.
And with a carnival theme. Who knows? Maybe somebody will swing by on a trapeze while you're having your burger.
That would work. That would absolutely work.
They have to raise the ceilings for that, but...
Well, you know what? It's a work in progress. I like a man with a vision. I like a team with a vision, and they seem like they know what they're doing over there.
You know what, though? Food's got to be good. They've got a good track record between everything I've heard from Mr. Paul's and Mothership. They've got a great track record. So, because, I mean, you know, it doesn't, all the other accoutrements, doesn't matter if the food ain't good, right?
That's very true. The Minnesota Twins last night 4-0 over the Royals. Joe Ryan threw himself a gem. 85 pitches total, 63 of them strikes. That's what you call a commanding win. Joe Ryan, my guy Joe Ryan.
I know.
Threw out the first pitch and he caught it and we hung out for a minute and I felt like we were kind of going to be besties, but I haven't really followed up on that.
You had a moment?
We absolutely had a moment. What are you kidding?
Ghosted Joe Ryan?
Nah, he's busy. What am I going to say? He was excited to meet me and he said that thing I love when he goes, man, you're the guy from the Black Crowes? I said, yeah. He goes, oh man, my uncle loves your band. Aww. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's still the second favorite ever to the stripper in Denver who said, my mom loves your band.
One thing that can be said about that Twins win, pitching works.
It's great. Pitching's a big part of the big part of the procedure.
Yeah.
Big fan. Hey, Woodbury, we're thinking of you. Woodbury, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us on a Thursday morning. You know what to do with that information, don't you? Don't you? We have a great job, and I'll tell you why. Because we get to listen to great music all day long. Ever had a job where you didn't get to listen to great music, but in fact you listened to horrid background music that made you want to jump off a cliff? Bad background music at work is worse than just the bad songs. It can wreak havoc on your central nervous system. I'm not making that up.
It's true.
And I will at this moment say, hey, I got to get my Oasis tickets. Almost forgot. Tour of the summer. I've been drunk with the band Oasis in Minnesota twice. Real drunk.
Where?
Well, the first one was at the XL Energy Center, 2001.
Okay.
We were on tour, the tour of Brotherly Love, and we played there. And we had a massive drink up afterwards, just at the venue.
Backstage? Okay.
Yeah, just backstage. So Gary from the Jayhawks was there, a few other friends from town, and it turned into one of those unexpected, wow, we're all really raging here. Instead of finding a cool bar, let's just have more drinks brought in. And then in 2008 or 9, we played First Ave, and they played the Target Center same night, right across the street from each other. And I think we had more people at our show. Because they had a rough night. They had a lean night at the Target Center. Oof. And we had a riotous night at First Avenue. And then so we went and saw the start of their show and then left. And then they came and saw the end of our show after their gig had ended. And then we stayed at First Ave I can't say the sun was coming up, but it was damn close by the time we shut that one down.
Nice.
Wow. An all-night rager.
Yeah, it was good times.
Did that one stay at first half?
Oh, yeah, right there. It's a little more it's comfortable at first half. It's not like
so comfortable.
It's not like a concrete locker room in an arena. It was more like, this is the perfect place to hang.
Yeah. 100%.
That was a good time. I don't think Oasis is worried about ticket sales this year, however, because
I think they're going to do okay.
The tour they're going on will be the biggest rock tour of all time. And they could continue that for years if they chose to, but I think I think this is they're cashing in the chip, and then they'll be done.
You think this is going to be it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't think they're going to make a new record. I don't think they're going to add dates. They're going to come in, they're going to hit it, they're going to quit it. The brothers are going to make Brinks trucks worth of money, and then they'll go back to doing their own thing where they're much happier.
They could theoretically, though, not make a new record and come back in 3-4 years and do the same thing all over again, though.
They could, but I don't see. Noel's a smart guy. He's cagey, and I think he recognizes if you're going to finally do it after 15 years, you just do it all at once, and then you go back to having the world beg you, and it's more fun when you don't need another nickel to just go, no, we're good. I think he appreciates that more than the sound of tens of thousands of people singing songs out at full voice that he wrote.
Do you think it's a good chance that they don't implode on this tour? Do they keep it together, keep the train on the tracks?
No, you're looking at like 100 million pounds each. They're not going to implode.
It's never stopped that's never stopped other bands.
No one's ever had that much money on the table. That's a different level of cash.
But everything is relative, right?
They're fine. They've been playing. This is always. If this was of all the inevitable reunions, this was the most inevitable of the inevitables.
Right.
I think,
Fair
and
enough.
I think that they're geniuses. I don't think they ever discussed it. I think they both knew. And one of these days it's going to happen, and they've just teased it perfectly for 15 years. And I know in the United States, a lot of people in the States are like, yeah, what's the big deal? And I get that because they were never huge here. But in the rest of the world, this is the biggest band of the last 35 years. Hands down. Rock band.
For sure.
No doubt. They could, Noel Gallagher was doing soccer stadiums in South America as a solo artist.
Yeah,
they're huge. I'm telling you, they're just big as any.
When you say 35 years, that includes U2.
No, U2 came out in 1980. I'm talking about a band that introduced themselves in the last 35 years.
Oh, okay.
Any band, let's just go 1990 on worldwide.
Okay, fair enough.
Nobody touches Oasis. Out in the States, of course. No one's close.
That also sucks because I was thinking the 80s was still 30-ish years back, and it's not. It's just not.
Not even close to 30
No,
years
I know,
back.
because we're in 2025, and it was just 25 years ago in 2000. So, yeah, no, I'm
Are you
I'm
really
getting the
just
math
processing
together
this live right now for the first time?
now. Kind of, yeah. I haven't thought about it. I've never thought about it.
Okay, Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin is 50 years
I know,
old this year.
I get it. No, I get
And
it.
50 years before that, it was 1925. The 20s were still roaring 50 years before Physical Graffiti
Are you telling
came
me
out.
that 1925 is 100 years since 2025?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Are you kidding me?
It's kind of astonishing.
No, that part I could do the math on for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of an ugly thing. But anyway, so Oasis, I guess the closest gig, Chicago.
That's not a bad drive,
It's not a bad drive.
especially if you've already got tickets.
And by the way,
Really quick
it's the
flight.
only city in North America where they're only doing one show. They got 2 in LA, 2 New York, 2 Mexico City, 2 why are they only playing one night in Chicago?
Middle finger to flyover country.
No, because
No?
the Chicago Fire, the MLS team, has that stadium and a game reserved and they wouldn't move it.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Yeah, a game where 9,000 people are going to be in attendance wouldn't move for an Oasis gig. Fun fact. How about that? And the Gallagher's like, all right, we'll just do one. They don't. But okay, I'll let this go. But it does
Steve,
remind me of why
It's American soccer.
this
Come on.
does remind me of why Oasis are the coolest. They're hilariously funny, and they must be insane to work with, of course. But I love the fact that they are exactly who they are. Liam Gallagher, the singer of Oasis, as a solo artist, 10 years ago or so, was out opening in Europe for the Rolling Stones. Stones are doing these giant stadiums, and here's Liam as a solo artist, as Liam Gallagher, as the opening act, and it's stadium after stadium after stadium after stadium. They had a gig booked in Manchester, Oasis's hometown. Mm-hmm. Oasis, Liam and Noel Gallagher support a football club called Manchester City.
Yeah.
Their
City.
arch rival, their arch enemy of life is Manchester United.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Man City's blue, Man United's red. Oasis are blue. The Rolling Stones booked a gig at Man United's stadium, and Liam
boy.
Gallagher would not play it.
No?
He turned down. He does the whole tour. He's like, yeah, but I'm not playing there. And the agents, everyone's like, no, Lim, come on, it doesn't. He's like, I'm not playing there. End of story. No chance will I set foot in my rival's soccer stadium. That's good stuff right there. That's a man with his priorities firmly in line.
I love how hardcore soccer fans are in England. It's just
the best.
It's such an you think hockey is serious here in Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even touch soccer in England. It's insane.
No, and if when you get out, you see old footage of soccer matches in, like, say, Glasgow. You know, like the big rivalries. You got Celtic Rangers, and you see stadium footage from the 1920s where there's 100,000 people in a stadium and 350 arrests made afterwards and fights in the park from the 1920s. I mean, there's such a head start for all that's wrong and right about fandom with British football. And oh God, I could go all day. But anyway, Oasis, Chicago. Yeah, what are we talking about? You know what? Why don't we take the gloves off? Why don't we put up our dukes? It's time for a little something we call Rank You Very Much. Paul, go ahead and explain what the hell we're doing here.
All right. Well, it started as a podcast off and on for the last couple of years. I did with former KARE 11 sports superstar Eric Perkins. I know Ryder's a huge fan.
I love Perkins play. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't love him? And a gal named Ellie Mark, who went on to be Miss Minnesota. We would get together for a podcast, do 3 topics, and we would rank our top 3 in each of those, and then relentlessly and ruthlessly, generally, attack each other for our selections. In this format, we'll do 1 topic a week.
All right.
But then we rank our top 3, and then again, have at it.
All right.
It's where we take something that's relatively meaningless and make it super important.
My Rank You Very Much name will be Ranking Roger. Tribute to my man from the English Beat. God rest his soul. Ranking Roger, one of the all-time greats.
I'm going to go with Paul.
Okay, that works.
For now.
That works. That's fine. Today's category, you got one?
We're going to do foods that are better on the grill.
All right.
Foods that are better on the grill. Okay. I'm ready to roll, man. But you know what? Why don't we ask Ryder to go first? We're each offering up 3. That's the rule here.
We start with our number 3s, and then we do our number 2s, and then we'll do our number 1s.
Number 3, Ryder. What's your number 3?
Fresh peaches.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, pretty great.
Right? You ever go to the produce stand at the fair?
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm gonna. There may be some stepping on some toes here. I'm gonna give you off the top of my head. See, I was going strawberries. Strawberries on the grill.
On the grill?
Oh, baby.
Did you just make that up just now?
No. As the smoke, as it compounds, they get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. Don't kid yourself. Strawberries on the grill, fantastic.
What would you eat that with? Just by itself, or do you eat it with something?
Any number of things, but by themselves are great. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm confused.
Really?
I'm not making this. Yeah, come on. You asked me what's on the grill. My first thought. Actually, it wasn't my first thought, but it was my third thought. I know what number 1 is.
Ryder, kind of makes me wonder if the guy's ever grilled before.
Oh, for the love of God. I'm from the South. We don't have ovens.
You don't?
No.
All right, well, that's actually a perfect transition. That's a perfect transition into my number 3, because this food is typically done in an oven, but stuffed peppers done on the grill. You get a little char.
Stuffed with?
Whatever you want. It could be the Italian mix. It could be a taco mix. It could be any kind of meats, chicken, whatever.
What kind of mess does that make? Have you had one fall over on you?
No, I have not had one fall over. I mean, you also you take the steps to make sure it doesn't fall over.
It sounds like you got to involve aluminum foil. I don't know.
This one sounds like a labor.
I don't know, man. That's like...
have you seen how important food is to me?
But the strawberries are easy. You just cut them, you throw them on there, you flip them. It's good. You don't have to. There's not a lot of thought.
We're not.
Are you grilling both? Or so are you slicing them in half and grilling both sides, the meaty side and the skin side of the strawberry?
Oh, we're back to the strawberries. Okay.
Yeah. Whip them all around, man. Trust me on that. So you take a big bell pepper. You cut it in half. You stuff it with a bunch of crap, and you throw it on the grill.
You just hollow it out.
Fill
Fill the inside, and then,
Oh, I see.
Oh, man, it's just another level of deliciousness, especially if you can get a little smoke going in there.
Mm.
Keep in mind, you're talking about ease. I'm not talking about ease. I take the topic seriously. It's foods that are better on the grill.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Ryder?
Easy is part of better. No, my number 2, is that what we're looking for?
Yeah.
I need them burger buns. You got to toast them burger buns.
Yeah,
if
that makes
you're
sense.
giving me a burger off the grill in just a plain bun that's room temperature, that's not nice and crispy, just throw the thing in the garbage or give it to Chauncey.
Roughly
I
how
don't
many?
care.
Roughly how many food combinations are there on the planet? Millions, endless, infinity.
Millions.
All the things in the world that you could do on a grill that are better, buns.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want that burger if the buns aren't toasty.
Yeah, man.
I need my buns just right.
Whereas I'll take any. You give me a burger, I'll wrap it in lettuce, put it on a raw bun, put it on a cooked bun. I'll just take it with anything. But no, a toasted bun, a grilled bun is very nice.
Oh yeah, and it's not like you can put them in the toaster or heat them up in the microwave. It's just not the same. You got to put that stuff on the grill.
I agree with you. I'm a grill. There's been different. Depends on my living situation, but there are times when I am grilling on a very regular basis. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple years. Don't have the right setup here in Minneapolis really
yet.
But one of the things that I really enjoy because it's so easy, but I'm confident. I'm not good at preparing fish. I don't trust myself with fish. All meat products I got, except for on the grill, the good old fashioned salmon on a cedar plank. Love that because it's grilling for a dumb guy. Soak your cedar plank, throw your salmon on there, close the grill, open it up later, and it's perfect. And the cedar, it's grilling for idiots, and I get that. But there's no better way to eat a piece of salmon than on your grill off a cedar plank. Is that cheating?
I think it's a little bit of cheating.
I came after you on the strawberries.
Okay.
I can't really poke a hole in this theory. I think you're onto something here. Now, for me personally, that salmon would be best under my car tire, and then I hit the gas, floor it, because I don't eat fish. But yeah, I can't really argue that. That's a really solid pick.
I'm just saying. It's
it makes me angry.
I owe you a shank of salmon on a cedar plank. What's your number 2, Paul?
My number 2 is corn on the cob. I mean, there's nothing better in Minnesota than corn on the cob. We love our corn on the cob, and I'll take it anyway.
Nope.
Okay.
But on an open flame, unhusked. You can do it in the husk or out of the husk. I like a little of the black char on it. You know what I mean? You get it warm on the top.
Okay.
And you bring it down to the lower level and let the flames hit a little bit. It's juicier, and it just has more of a natural
it's
flavor.
still in the husk?
No, out of the husk.
Out of the husk.
You can do it in the husk.
Yeah, sure.
But I like it out of the husk. You might even start it in the husk, open it up, and then put it on the open flame. I just like to get some of the char going on it, and it cooks different, and it has a more of the you have more likelihood to spray somebody across the room with a corn kernel.
I'm not going to argue. I love grilled corn on the cob. What do you add? Do you go butter, salt, pepper?
Butter, salt.
I
can't do
again
pepper.
with the labor though, man. Like I shucked so much freaking corn growing up. I am not touching those. No.
Really?
Yes. Like, my parents made me hate corn.
Wow. Oh, man.
Here's the thing, though. I'm the dad of the family now.
Right.
So that's my job. My job is to sit out on the deck and peel and shuck the corn. Not shuck the corn, but unhusk it, if you will. So it's
all the the silky junk.
I'm teaching the kids. They'll get there. Yeah, but it's part of the deal. Like, you just want everything so easy.
I grew up in a house with canned cream corn a lot, and that still triggers me. If I see cream corn, I'm like, oh god. But no, corn on the cob, pretty undeniable. Hard to argue. We got some number ones we need to get to. 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. 651-989-ROCK. We're playing a little something called Rank You Very Much. Things that are best on the grill. A couple of suggestions. Ryder's dad texted in Brussels sprouts drizzled with olive oil on a skewer.
He is a master griller. He's
really
real good at that stuff.
Fair enough. Well then maybe we need to we can put a grill outside. Get Jim in here. Whack us up some breakfast food.
I'm pretty sure we have one in a storage room somewhere.
I would imagine so. A different Jim texted in, cooking the salmon on the board. That's when you throw away the salmon and eat the board. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And then Jimmy texted, "Is this grilling for idiots?" And the answer is, well, yeah.
A little bit.
Of course. Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We just know what's good.
Yeah, 100%.
Rank you very much. So we got to get our number ones up here. By the way, we're welcoming all other suggestions. But our number one, what's best on the grill? Ryder, what's your top choice?
What's better on the grill than in the oven or whatever?
Yep.
Anywhere.
Frozen pizza. And I was doing that frozen pizza on the grill trick all last summer.
Seriously?
Yes.
Frozen pizza?
Yes.
Okay,
Frozen
so
pizza.
I go grab my Haggies. I take it out of the freezer.
I put it on like a tinfoil thing so it doesn't get all messy on the grill because I like things easy.
Right.
And then you just crank that sucker up to like 450.
Okay.
Dial it back a little bit. Put the pizza in there. Put the cover down. Check in about 10-ish minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Crust gets nice and crispy because it's that thin crust, that thin frozen pizza crust. Cheese gets
Fair
all
enough.
nice
All right.
and boily.
I can't knock it because I haven't tried it. So you can't
Didn't stop you from knocking my stuffed peppers.
I've had stuffed peppers. I
on
couldn't
the grill?
care. Yeah, no, I don't. Probably. I don't know. How else do you make them? No, I can't knock that because, as we all know, it's the old line about pizza. It's like sex. When it's good, it's great, and when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to argue with any way to prepare pizza.
That's 100% accurate.
My number one, I'm a little salty to say I was going to go straight to peaches. Your number 3 is my number 1.
They're so damn good.
And there's a million different ways to do it, but a little bit of olive oil with some basil and thyme and salt and pepper. I mean, if you really want to get busy, you just about 5 minutes in a bowl and then throw those bad boys on the grill. Grilled peaches, and you can put those with ice cream, with pie, with anything. Grilled peaches are what life is all about.
Yeah.
I do dig this. I wanted to knock it, but it is good. I mean, especially on top of ice cream. It's as
good as it's as good as anything I've ever had from a grill. And I you can argue with it, and I'll just roll my eyes and turn your mic off. Okay, you're number 1, Paul. What do you got?
What a flex. Hey, by the way, we also want your ranks, your top 3, 651-989-ROCK. My number 1 is...
Let's hear it.
Here it comes.
Ryder, you nailed it. It's pizza.
Oh, come on.
It can be homemade pizza,
Really?
but the frozen pizza, 1,000%. You know what? I'm a sucker for a $3 Jack's pizza.
Okay.
And then you throw that on the grill. She's 1,000% right on this. It's
Really?
It's like...
How have I missed this?
I don't know. But it's like you do it on a pizza stone. Oh, God, you can't beat it.
Now I got to get a pizza stone?
I mean, there you go
Don't you
with
have
the
one
labor
already?
again.
What do you mean? What's the labor?
You got to go buy a pizza stone.
I already have a pizza stone.
I already have aluminum foil.
So do that. That's
All right.
fine. I'm just saying I have a pizza stone. I throw it on that. And it's just, can we let's not argue when we agree. That's all.
This text just in. Duck and goose meat in pieces. The size of a pinky finger, wrap bacon, sprinkle with Greek seasoning, and grill. Now Ryder's not going to do that because that's labor intensive.
Yeah,
However,
it's super labor intensive.
yeah,
right there.
I bet that would absolutely work. Jimmy said watermelon. I've had grilled watermelons. Fantastic. Any fruit or vegetable to me is going to work on the grill.
All right, you know what I'm going to do? This is going to be the summer of fruit. I'm going to try all the fruit on the grill, and we'll see what happens.
No, you can't go wrong. Brian says tater tots on the smoker. Sure.
Really?
If you say so, any tots. But Dan wins. His text simply the beer that's next to the grill. Okay. That
Fair
works.
enough.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not on the grill, though, is it?
No, but it's right next to it.
Okay.
And you know what? And things go awry. If you have a couple of beers, I bet some ends up on the grill. That's how I roll.
That's fair.
That's how that sort of thing goes.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Butcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. That would be Minnesota's Semisonic right there.
Hey, that's on closing time?
Yeah.
Have you heard this story? Maybe you guys have heard this story. Of course, we know about the bar closing, get the heck out. We know that aspect, right?
Yeah.
Dual meaning song, though.
Okay.
Also, think of it from the perspective of a baby who's about to be evicted from mom.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Because that's what the song's about.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yes. Think about it.
Now you're going to make me have to listen to the lyrics.
This room won't be open until your brothers or your sisters come.
Okay. All right. That's way more than I need to think about. It's too early in the morning for me to be dealing with these sort of heavy themes.
No, it's a dual meaning song. It's brilliant.
Embryonic fluid everywhere. No, thank you.
I'm a fan of Dan Wilson's work. The guy's written a lot of bangers. The band before Semisonic, he had Trip Shakespeare though. Did rankle my life a good bit. I worked at a record store, and a couple of the gals I worked with were obsessed with Trip Shakespeare, and they would play it over and over and over and over at work, and I would counter that every single time by putting on Power Age, an album by a band called AC/DC, who will be at the US Bank Stadium tonight. My anecdote to Trip Shakespeare, and I liked it was fine, but they just played it so much I just couldn't take it. I had to rock the AC/DC in response, and it was the teeth would come out, the nails, we'd be going at it. The record store, who gets to pick the music wars of 1989, as I refer back to them. Man. I appreciate that. AC/DC kicks off that tour tonight at US Bank Stadium. Before the show, check out their pop-up high-voltage dive bar at the Machine Shop right across the river from US Bank Stadium. See iconic AC/DC props, buy exclusive merch, and pick up a special release of their latest album, Power Up, on vinyl. Well, that's cool as hell.
I popped over there yesterday with a couple of people from the building.
Really?
Kato, who took a bunch of really cool pictures.
Nice.
The deal is, I walked in and there was hardly anybody there. The merch all upstairs. I walked into people buying T-shirts.
Yeah.
It was like butts to nuts.
I bet.
It was so full. So the pro tip is go grab your T-shirts, take some cool pictures, and then when you get to US Bank Stadium, you can enjoy the show and chill out.
Now,
I took care of that business.
I'm assuming they have Angus's devil horns you can put on your head, like the arrow through the head. They have the horns that light up. I would hope so.
They're on top of a taxidermy deer.
Okay. Okay, very good. My kids took the kids to see AC/DC a couple times back in the 2009-2010 era. Yeah. And those devil horns were worn to school the next day. Both times, trust me. Yeah, I mean, the Gorman kids rock a little AC/DC.
Nice.
Make no mistake about it. You know who else has written a couple of bangers over the years? Paul Simon. My man can turn out a tune with the best of them. If you are interested in winning a shot, if you are interested in a shot to win Paul Simon tickets, I got great news for you. Text us right now. Text the word SOUND, SOUND, to 651-989-ROCK. SOUND to 651-989-ROCK for Paul Simon tickets. We were discussing earlier societal rules that make no sense, ones that we're ready to get rid of. And I'm curious for your thoughts. You can call and or text. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. Here's the rule. The rule says it's not cool to date your friend's ex.
There's got to be a cooling off period, maybe.
Maybe a cooling off period, but generally speaking, if you are no longer seeing someone, guess what? That person retains their entire self-identity and can date whoever they want. That's my feeling.
There are definitely... Every situation is different, right? There are rules within the rules, but generally speaking, it's probably fine.
A text came in. I had 3 friends date the same girl after I did. Didn't bother me a bit. It did bother my next girlfriend at the time, but hey, no issues for me. Okay.
She's the new girlfriend, I think, is overstepping there.
I would think so, unless she's thinking to herself, wait, does this mean when we break up, I have to date 3 of your friends too?
Well, there's that.
That could be this. Jackie texted in, life is too short to worry about who someone's dating. No, I'm sorry. Let me get this straight. Life is too short to worry if someone is dating your sloppy seconds, and then followed it up with, let's be adults.
All right, Jackie.
I love the juxtaposition from sloppy seconds to let's be adults.
There's a little bit of Beavis in there, I think.
A little bit. Just a touch of Beavis in there. Question was, is it okay for a friend to date your ex? We were discussing earlier societal rules. The fact that people always say, bless you, after one sneezes. Do we really have to do that?
Can we just that anymore in our house?
If we just ignore it, then the sneeze happens, and you don't stop the flow of the movement of the room you're in to say bless you, or am I overthinking it?
I don't. Maybe there should be some type of acknowledgement.
Why don't we say bless you when someone farts? Why do we ignore the fart and acknowledge
Why does
the sneeze?
Think it's so much better than a fart?
I don't know that I want to say bless you, but I would like to come up for a term for one people, the post-farting term. I like that.
Yeah, all right, maybe we should make that one of our missions.
Yes.
I don't think we can just do it right here on the spot. It's too important.
I think so, too.
This requires a focus group,
have
probably.
To come back to that.
That's a very good point. On the KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. To the burning question, is it okay for a friend to date your ex? How about this? What if your supposed good friend dated 6 of my exes? He followed my humps his whole life and even currently. Okay.
Come on.
All right. If you've dated 6 women in your life, to then have one of your friends follow you up and date all 6 women, that's a situation.
That's a character flaw on your buddy's part. Maybe he's not a good friend.
And hasn't he learned his lesson? Maybe after dating the third one, that like the women that you're into, that you're picking out, he's going to end up breaking up with.
I would imagine so. It seems. I mean, like, again, I said before, one makes sense to me. You get to know your friend's girlfriend, and you're not, generally speaking, people are at their most relaxed when they're around their friends' partners, because who's hitting on your friend's partner? Nobody, unless you're a douchebag.
Correct.
So you're just relaxed and you're comfortable, and then you realize, like, I don't know, I was just always more comfortable. Because guys are stupid, so you have to go through this to learn, the reason you are more comfortable around her, it's not because she sees the real you. You weren't trying to bang her.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that leads to maybe I'll date her now. And that never works, but I'm saying it comes from an innocent enough, ignorant place.
I think if you're 6 deep here, it's a self-reflection though. You need to find a new buddy. That's not as much. It's on your buddy a little bit, but how about you move on and find a new friend?
I would say that's a pretty good point.
Pick up on a track record here and just move on to a new dude to go watch football with, the Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Good morning. It is Thursday, April the 10th. Which means it's almost tax time. That's the only time I'm going to mention it. There. It's beyond me.
We knocked that out. We set an appointment with our tax person for the first week of February to just get it done.
Attaboy. Ryder, you good?
I mean, we got a guy, and I just texted him last night, and I was like, hey, what about them taxes, dude?
Uh-huh. Yeah, good to keep up.
He said, I'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Last thing on my mind, because I file in October.
What?
All right.
Always have.
How does that work?
It's just started back in the day. It's a long story.
Oh.
I do it in 6 months from now. And every year I go, I'm going to switch this time and get back to April. And then I'm like, no, I'm not. Screw it.
No, don't do it. Because then none of the accountants are busy.
Exactly.
And you got your run of the mill.
No, it's great when you file in October.
Are there late fees? Do you have to do an extension or whatever?
You do an extension, and there's a little thing. It's just it's a whole shooting match. I don't know how it works. I never paid attention in class or in life.
You're so tax counterculture.
That's how I like to roll, baby. It's National Sibling Day.
Oh.
How about that? So hang
Jeff.
on. All right. Bob, Sue, Tom, Jim, Dave, Doug, and Deb. It's 7 of them.
So
I don't know.
You got all of them?
I think I did.
All right. Nice work.
I just have to give a shout out to Jeff in Hanover. That's all.
There you go. Okay.
Hi, Jeff.
That's it. Right.
He's
fair
not
enough.
either. So.
But there's a lot more going on in the world. And Paul, I believe you're just the man to let me in on this.
I am. I'm feeling very Minnesota right now. Who doesn't love a carnival? A carnival-themed bar is coming to Edina a week from today on the 17th. They're going to open the Carnival Bar. This is from the people that are behind Mr. Paul's Supper Club and Mothership Pizza Paradise. I actually talked to a friend of mine this morning who went to Mothership last night, said it was outstanding.
Highly touted.
Gives you a track record, right? They're a cocktail lounge that are going to blend vintage carnival charm and a modern cocktail bar vibe in the Nolan Mains development at 50th and France.
I wonder if that involves at any time the sound of a calliope, like old-timey carnival noises, the sound of the penny whistles and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I want to see a guy in a straw hat and a striped vest. Maybe some dudes in the corner singing barbershop music.
All right, there we go.
Maybe I'm confusing carnivals with old Broadway show tune plays, but whatever.
You know what? I would love that whistle when they walk up with your food.
Sure.
And bring it to your table. There it is. They're going to have handcrafted cocktails and a menu of burgers that are apparently going to be the cat's pajamas.
Fair enough. I'll take that.
Yeah. A nice retro reference.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, Carnival's retro. I just felt like it fit there.
Yeah, it did.
Perhaps bowing to pressure from finance and business leaders, President Trump has put a 90-day pause on the tariffs that were to go into effect yesterday, except for China after it responded to U.S. tariff hikes by raising its own. Trump now says there will be a 125% duty on Chinese goods coming into the USA. Stock market took off yesterday, up 2,600 points as of 2 in the afternoon. John Krasinski is currently People Magazine's sexiest man alive.
John Krasinski from The Office and the movies where you can't make any noise.
Yeah, those are brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, just making sure I got the right guy in mind.
Quiet Place.
Yeah,
Thank
Quiet
you.
Place
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. They quietly made...
Hold on. There's 3 of them?
Yeah. And
And
last
you've
one's
seen
actually
all
really
3
great.
of them?
Yeah, they're outstanding. They quietly made, I don't mean a pun there, but they quietly, because nobody's talking about it, made a nice little franchise. I mean, it's officially a trilogy.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's really good. Celebration 2025 will turn its attention to Prince-centered events that took place 40 years ago, including the release of Around the World in a Day, Prince's run of 3 Grammys and an Oscar for Purple Rain, and a breaking ground on Paisley Park.
Fair enough.
That should be cool, huh?
That'll be very cool.
It'll take place downtown Minneapolis, and Chanhassen include a performance from the Family. Jesse Johnson, Morris Day, and The Time also set to perform. I think there'll be a new artist showcase as well.
Fair enough.
How
All
about
right.
that? That just popped
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
just a little while ago. So
right.
that's a nice little find.
No
That'd
such
be
thing
good.
as too much Prince in my world.
Yeah, I'm not as big a fan as you are, but like the respect is endless. I have respect infinity.
Yeah, just print that money. Print that money, Paisley Park.
Bang. Just keep it going.
They are.
Let's talk about some sports in the Twin Cities. In reverse order of importance, the Twins got a win last night. They still have 151 games to go. 150
What
games.
is it, 182 games?
170.
162
It's 162.
Is it a lot?
They've got about 150 games left to turn this thing around.
Okay.
Good start last night. Joe Ryan with a hell of a performance, beating the Royals 4-0. 85
Attaboy.
pitches, 63 of them strikes. Attaboy, Joey baby.
Yeah.
The
His
Masters
uncle's a
kicks
big-
off today.
His
Sorry?
uncle, Joe Ryan's uncle's a big fan of your band, huh?
That's what I hear. The Masters gets underway. The 89th Masters at Augusta National. Scotty Scheffler going for his 3rd in 4 years. Rory McIlroy is ranked 2nd in the world right now. And a lot of people are hoping this is his year. If he can't win it this year, when's it going to happen? I mean, Rory, come on, brother. Get it together. Win your green jacket so we can stop talking about when you're going to win your green jacket. But far more important than either of those, the Minnesota Wild got back Joel Eriksson Ek and Kirill Kaprizov last night. And my God, were they ready to play. Ek with 4 goals, Kaprizov with 2. They beat the Sharks in overtime 8-7.
Unbelievable game.
I've never been to an NHL game where 15 goals were scored.
It's not easy to do. I went to bed. It was 4-3 when I went to sleep.
I mean, I've seen some I've seen like a 6-5, I believe. I've seen like a 7-1, an 8-7. No, that's
In
never happened.
overtime, that's just nonstop.
That's pretty good.
That's insanity. The Wild, by the way, have upped their odds of getting into the playoffs to nearly a lock. 93.7% is what I read earlier today. Is the percentages they make the playoffs at this point.
I'm just now that I'm thinking about it, highest scoring hockey game ever. I don't know, but I did go to a 3 overtime playoff game against those same San Jose Sharks. This was back in my former life as a Nashville resident of Predators. Mike Fisher, Carrie Underwood's husband, with an OT winner back in, I want to say, 2016.
Did you stay?
Oh yeah, school night for me and a young lad, and it was deep into the 3rd.
Did you go to
when
sleep?
he scored?
Did you just sleep? Did you sleep that night at all, or just go?
Oh yeah, I slept like a baby. I got home and said, "You're taking the kids to school."
Oh, not a school night for you. I thought
Not a school
you
night
had
for
a
me.
morning
No,
show
hell
to do
no.
or something. Okay. all right.
No, I was just there with my kid who's like, "Dad, we're not leaving." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem."
Good for him.
It's
Total-
fantastic.
Total side note: does Kirill Kaprizov not sound like it would be a really good salad?
I could work a
Kaprizov
Kirill.
salad?
Yeah, and I'd put
some extra
pecans
Kirill
on there.
on it? Yeah.
I'd put some pecans on there, maybe even a raspberry or 2.
Goat cheese, maybe, perhaps. No, you're not a goat
Well, I
cheese
like
guy?
a lot of cheeses. I don't go goat. I don't do much goat, and I don't do much feta, but everything else is always in
He's
play.
in play. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Inver Grove Heights. Glad to have you with us this morning. Thinking about you in Inver Grove Heights. I mean, whatever you're doing, we're good with it. You know what to do with that information. Inver Grove Heights. This is Gorman in the Morning. This is Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Oh, and with Dave Hill, who joins us in studio. Dave's in town tonight on tour with Bill Murray. A man with which I imagine we all have a passing familiarity. Dave, good morning, brother.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Look at you in your wild Prince special edition jersey.
I know. I slept in it.
You slept?
Did you
Oh,
really?
that's good.
Yeah, we went to the game last night.
Right.
It was so much fun. I got the sweet jersey. Mm-hmm. Sweater.
Sweater.
Depending
Yeah,
on what you
sweater.
call 'em.
I like that.
I know. I didn't run in rage any people that call it sweater get really mad.
You know what? It's sort of like your thing with English soccer. We don't call it football. We don't call it a pitch. We call it a game. We call it a field.
I'm a soccer jerk. It's my favorite sport.
Who's your team?
Arsenal. Only first sport I ever played. It's a lifelong thing. But that said, I'm one of the American soccer jerks. I don't say pitch. I say field. I say soccer, not football, because we're here, and I recognize how easy it is to alienate people when you're like, it's the pitch, man.
Yeah, that's why I say jersey, just for. Yeah, that's also like when you're in the UK with just Americans, and they're like, do you want to take the lift? And I'm like, no, it's just it's us. Let's take the elevator.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's very true.
And so I think that it's a jersey because, I mean, sweater is like 1946 Montreal, I think, probably.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We're in America. It's 2025. That's a jersey.
Yeah.
And it's a good-looking jersey.
But, yeah, it is.
They should wear those for warm-ups sometime for Prince Day, I think.
Every day should be Prince Day.
So being on the road with Bill Murray, that sucks, doesn't it? That's a grueling job that's probably nobody wants.
It's awesome. I mean, Bill Murray and his blood brothers, Mike Zito, Albert Castiglia, and that whole band it's a blast.
How long?
Awesome.
I've never heard of this. This is a recent thing for Bill, or did I just miss it up until this past year?
No, I think it's pretty recent. There's the Blood Brothers, which is Mike Zito and Albert Castiglia, and they in turn have separate solo bands.
Okay.
So then they fuse their two bands into the Blood Brothers, as if I'm getting all this right. And then I think they were doing some event, and Bill Murray got on stage with them, and they said, you should join our band. And he said, could I? And I think that's the story. And then
right.
Bill brought Chris Barnes in, who's an amazing blues man. And
there you are. And you're at the Orpheum tonight.
Yeah.
Right here in Minneapolis.
Yeah. I was just here like 3 weeks ago at First Avenue.
Right.
I practically live here.
You're the answer to a lot of questions I have about the connecting points between music and comedy. So many musicians I know at some point in their life thought, maybe I'll try comedy. And I know a million comedians I know play an instrument and thought, maybe I'll be in a band. And you've done both. A whole lot of both, in fact, over the years.
Yeah, I started playing in bands, and then I realized I liked talking in between songs just as much as playing.
Right.
You know, like much to the chagrin of my bandmates who'd be like, come on. I'm like, no,
right.
I'm on a roll. And then, it just kind of happened. And then I got into comedy, and I kept them separate, and then I started just, mixing it. And it's more fun for me and hopefully the audience, but also there's laziness where I'm like, I just leave the house once. I don't have to go do a bunch of comedy shows, then a bunch of music shows. Just do it all at once.
Efficiency is key.
Yeah.
In the life of Dave Hill.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think, Ryder, you would agree with this because you
I
don't
was
want to
just
do
thinking.
more. You don't want to do more.
He makes it easy, and makes it easy for me to go to, too, because I do want to see some comedy and some music.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to leave the house twice, too.
It's better. Everyone wins.
You're really making the world a better place.
I mean, I hope so. That's the idea.
Digging into the brain of Dave Hill, who's at the Orpheum tonight with Bill Murray and his Blood Brothers, which is, I would imagine, a fantastic night out. I'm sorry you're competing with AC/DC, a band of note. But you know what?
Never heard of them.
Probably a different audience. Dave Hill will be at the Orpheum tonight opening for Bill Murray. And Dave, that's not the only thing you got going on. You on your own shows, I see on your website, Caveman in a Spaceship.
Yeah.
Which is your off-Broadway show.
Yeah. We did a couple months of it in the fall. Now, I'm doing a limited 4 nights at La Poisson Rouge in New York in the Village there. So
pretty cool. So when someone says, "Hey, let's take this to Broadway or off-Broadway," or I mean, was that always was that the idea? Did you write a show and think this is something I want to take there? Or how does one get to off-Broadway?
I did it in London first. And then I'm not messing around.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, I'm considered a genius over there, as you can imagine.
Sure. That checks out.
Are you not considered a genius everywhere else?
Everywhere, pretty much. But they're,
not the Welsh don't care, but the
Welsh,
the English and the Scottish are way on board.
Exactly. Tough time with the Welsh.
Probably have a tough time in Idaho too, but outside of that,
no, considered a genius there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Never mind.
But I did in London, and then my agents over there were like, come
it's just
come, do it in New York. And I was like, oh, I was nervous about because I live in New York, and then so I was like, oh, if no one's gonna come, and the 5 people that come are gonna pelt me with nickels and garbage.
Right.
But then so we did it, and that didn't happen. People came, which was great. So
I thought you were gonna say just garbage.
Just
no
garbage, no nickels. So we lost money. And it went well. So this is kind of a new iteration of the show, more explosives and things like that.
I'm just a fan of the title, "Caveman in a Spaceship." Right? You have me at the jump with that.
Thank you. Yeah. That's the idea. It's it's sort of that's kind of how I feel in the modern world.
How long have you been a New Yorker?
I've been there 22 years.
Okay, that's more than enough time. But Cleveland originally.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, like Cleveland proper, out in the burbs.
Burbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit of a rock town.
Big time, yeah.
Bit of a rock town. First concert you remember seeing and thinking, okay, rock music's cool.
We were just talking about this. I mean, there was a little up-and-coming band called U2 that I went to see.
Right.
On the Unforgettable
Irish,
Flight.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They're from,
Yeah.
I saw them on the Unforgettable Fire. We were just talking about this because it was the Unforgettable Fire tour. They played Richfield Coliseum, and then earlier on the whatever tour cycle, they had played like a little theater. And I'd never been to, I'd been to whatever, like party in the park with my parents or something,
Sure.
But I never, and I was still thought a rock concert was just people dragging random people into the bathroom to inject them with heroin.
Of course.
So my sister, she's like, I got you a ticket, but you'd be sitting by yourself. And I was like, no way am I going to that concert.
Yeah.
And then like a few months later, they were coming back. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. And so now I've been to hundreds, thousands of concerts, not dragged into a bathroom and injected with heroin once.
You keep going, you keep waiting, you keep hoping, you keep expecting, and you're let down
now
every time.
Now I'm on the other side of it. Now it's like...
Now you're the one dragging someone into the
bad
bathroom,
element.
see?
That's if you wait long enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the dumbest question of them all.
Okay.
Which is your favorite place you've reviewed? The way I discovered you, it's silly, but the way I discovered you was on Instagram. You doing your, I would call them unnecessary reviews of random places across the country. But it sucked me in, and I hit follow as soon as I watched the first one.
You.
Yeah. What's your favorite place you've ever reviewed that was completely unnecessary? Besides Fan HQ over at Ridgedale.
Fan HQ is a big one, but probably Trophies Unlimited in Portland. I was out for a killer run in the morning before my show. I was doing there, and then I passed Trophies, and it's always the ads. They're all incredible, of course, but it's always the ones I'm like, this is too stupid. I shouldn't even bother posting this. This is so dumb. And then it got like millions of views.
Yeah.
But I think that's like, for me anyway, like anytime I'm just like, this is dumb. I shouldn't even bother. That's always the thing. But if you ever go like, oh, this is going to be good, everyone's going to love it, it's like 7 views.
It's everybody I know with social media and anything. It's like when you think it's like if you're playing a gig. When you're on stage and you're playing music and you sit there and think to yourself, oh my God, it is all adding up right now. This is what I've been trying to do my whole life. Invariably, that's the gig. You walk off stage and someone goes, rough night up there, huh? and then when you're fighting all of your gear all night long, someone's like, I've never seen you so great. That was my experience forever.
Completely. And anytime I could count on one hand, like anytime now I go on stage, I'm always like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to try to have fun. That's all I can do. And there's been a handful of times when I've been like, I'm a pro. This is going to go great.
Yeah, no.
And those are the worst shows. I was in Nairobi a couple years ago, and I was like, I should see if there's a comedy.
I'm sorry. Are you considered a genius in Kenya?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just
one of the places. Definitely not.
Got it.
I was like there. I wrote this book about hockey, and there's one team there, the Kenya Ice Line. So I went to play with them, and I was like, well, I'll get on stage while I'm here. Found a show, and I was having the best time, and I was like, I'm a pro. I'll get up there. This is going to go great. They just stared at me, and like the only time they laughed, I think they were just like, who's this guy who's confident and like, what? He's horrible. And the only time they laughed is I said, I'm just going to do like 45 minutes longer. And then the whole place was roaring. And usually, like, if I do a thing like, just do a guest spot somewhere, like I'll hang out and with the comedians and chat. And I was like, my buddy that I was there with, I'm like, let's get out of here. Like, this didn't happen. But I did text my girlfriend 'cause she loves a horrible show. She loves a great show, but she loves horrible ones just as much. I'm like, you missed the worst set of all time.
Capital H.
And
Capital H horrible.
Capital H horrible, yes. And she's angry that you didn't bring her to that one.
Oh,
so
she loves it.
No, but she wanted to witness it. But I suppose.
Oh yeah,
Kenya's not an easy one to just hey. Yeah,
it's not as easy as Akron or something.
Right, that's a little easier.
Where I am considered a genius.
Oddly, my daughter's going to Kenya this summer.
Really?
Yeah,
that's right.
It's amazing.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Good.
I
I wake up in the middle of the
back.
night in a fit of panic half the time, but apparently it's going to be okay.
Oh, she's gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. People are awesome, and when you order a beer in Kenya, they always bring you two.
Yeah.
It's like going to McSorley's.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I never knew they had Kenyan roots down there at McSorley's.
Yeah. You have to beg them to bring you just one.
Really?
Yeah, and
I like
so
that.
I was going out with these young hockey players, and they'd be like, let's stop off for one more. But one more is never one more. It's at least two more, which means four more in Kenya.
Yeah.
Even in Kenya, hockey players, they there's no such thing as a beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some truths are universal, I suppose.
Exactly.
You lace them up, you get on the ice, you're going to drink more than one beer.
Hey, pro tip for your daughter.
Yeah.
She should absolutely name drop Dave when she gets
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll make it happen.
What is she going just for fun?
She's going to go hang out with a bunch of cheetahs for a few weeks.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
My only concern is if she were going anywhere that I'd already been, I wouldn't even think about it. But I've never been there. This is not my linear brain. This is my subconscious brain. I'm like, because I can't picture any part of the trip, so therefore I panic. And then I go, wait, no, it's fine. It's a group, and I know she's going with a friend, and it's all good. But I just have this thing of like, if she said I was going to any place I'd ever been, the fact that I could visualize it, I'd be like, oh, cool, it'll be great.
Yeah, it was great. And like having been because I did that, I'd never been, and I looked up, I'm like, what's the deal? And you read those things like, be careful.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all that stuff that's silly. Like I'm like, this is fun. I'm having a great time.
Sure. If you're aware of your surroundings at all times, if you've got a modicum of common sense, most of the places they tell you to be worried about are fine. Everywhere you go is scary if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You can get in a lot of trouble in Dinky Town. You know what I mean? It's like it's just you go somewhere, you keep your head on a swivel, you're going to be fine. That's the way I look at it.
Oh my gosh.
So
Plus, she's got the cheetahs to protect her.
The cheaters will protect her.
1,000%.
Yeah.
So we kicked off this new era at Minnesota's 92 KQRS a week ago today. Okay, and we started with a lot of firsts. First record you ever bought with your own money.
I want to say like a cooler answer, but it was Sean Cassidy. Because I was so young. I was like 6 years old or something.
Dude, mine was Michael Jackson Thriller. It's like
that's a way cooler answer.
You're watching the Hardy Boys Mysteries. You're just like, man, come on. I like the wings on that kid's head.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
I saved up quarters. This sounds like it was like 1942 or something, but I put quarters in a cigar box until I had enough money. And I was stealing the quarters from my mom. It wasn't like I cut lawns or something.
Yeah.
But
if I could, Sean Cassidy, correct me if I'm wrong. When I was 16, sick of school, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
I bought a guitar.
Get the harmony.
Yeah.
That's rock and roll. Oh yeah, there it was. Yeah. I'm a little older than you, so I was old enough to A, go, that's so not cool, but B, remember the song all these years later.
Oh yeah. Well, this is when it gets. There was an address you could write. You're really unearthing like trauma.
Yeah.
There was an address to write a fan letter.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a letter to Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, you did.
And, I was 6 or something, so I didn't have an envelope and stamps or anything. So I wrote it and put it in a drawer, and I was like, I'll wait till my mom gets home and, mail it.
Yeah.
My sister found it, read it, and thought it was so hilarious. She's shared it with all the other kids in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's great.
And
that's great.
It was compete. My first humiliation, I think.
Well, and it's a fine story for you to share on this National Siblings Day. How about that? Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
Look, I'll bring it. I got a button for every story. Come on, man.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's why I went into show business.
How many siblings?
4.
And
3.
where are you in the rankings?
I'm 4.
You're
second youngest.
Second youngest. Okay.
Mentally the youngest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, 3 sisters and a brother.
Got anybody else in show business in the
No,
family?
they're all respectable people.
Adults, we call them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. They have houses,
Wow.
jobs,
Weird.
families, spouses. They have cars, all the stuff I don't have.
Yeah.
But are they considered a genius in every
No.
city they walk into?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No,
so
they've got that gnawing sense of dissatisfaction that they'll never acknowledge.
Exactly.
That's why they work so hard.
Yeah, they're like, what
Gotta
am I
keep
going to
running.
do with all this money?
Who's tapping me on the shoulder? Why is there another mirror in this room? It's a hellhole for it's a bleak landscape they're dealing with. Whereas you're on the bounce. You're living in New York. You're a genius in London. You go to Africa. You're playing shows
probably
in the Twin Cities tonight. I mean, look at you.
Probably steal bottled water from Bill Murray's dressing room tonight if everything goes as planned.
Yeah, get on that.
Yeah.
I just saw this morning, there's an article in Rolling Stone about the making of the movie What About Bob and how fractured it was, and there were different camps on the set. It's like an oral history. And I was like, I got to read that a little later because, I'm a big Bill Murray guy, as is anyone of my generation.
Who isn't?
He's amazing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his work, and then he's a delightful man.
Fantastic.
Such a great guy.
Dave, if we went out right now, out back, there's a hoop, no warm-up. How many free throws out of 10 are you going to hit?
It's weirdly basketball. I don't know what I'm so bad at basketball. It should be like a medical
And you can
disability.
skate and play hockey, but you can't shoot a basketball.
But my hockey's the only. My skill at hockey is like a form of autism or something. Like, because I can't play any other sports, but I played varsity like as a freshman in high school. Played NCAA.
What?
But
Wow.
suck.
Where'd you play college hockey?
Well, this is where, when you really dig deeper, it gets sad.
No.
But I went to Fordham, so it was technically NCAA. So I always say that, but it was really the lowest level.
Here's the deal, though.
Intercollegiate.
If you play outside of youth hockey, which is all the way up to high school, anything beyond that, you're pretty good compared to if you put you on the ice with a random Joe. The likelihood is you're going to be better than they are.
Yeah, for 30 seconds, you'll be like, why didn't this guy go pro? And then at second 31 or 32, you're like, I get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Hockey that's the Bronx, yeah? Fordham?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vague bells are ringing in my head. I've clearly been there for some reason, and it's a beautiful campus.
It really is. It's like a weird, big sprawling green lawn.
FUV. I got it.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's it. I did a thing with I was at the campus radio station there with Trigger Hippie once. It's all coming back to me now.
Wow. Yeah, great.
And we laced them up and we went out. No, wait, we didn't do that.
Okay.
No, we didn't skate at all.
Okay, so the free throws wouldn't work. How many toe
very
drag
bad.
top right in a row?
How many you want?
Okay, fair.
That's
All
the
day.
right. That's the right answer, brother.
Yeah.
All
That's
day.
the one. I can still do that.
Still toe drag top cheese?
1,000. Yeah.
1,000 times in a row, easy.
1 hole, 2 hole, 5 hole, whatever you want.
Put it wherever you want to put it.
Yeah, just point. Yeah.
Dave Hill,
Still got it.
absolutely the funniest hockey player we've ever had in studio.
Easily.
The bar
good
is
to
not
see you.
very high.
At the Orpheum tonight with Bill Murray and everywhere else all the time, where should people find you on your Instagram account? What
I'm
is it
glad you
actually
asked,
known
Steve.
as?
At Mr. Dave Hill, at Mr. Dave Hill is my Instagram.
Right
And
on.
I think all my social media is pretty much, but I mostly Instagram.
Okay.
I do some of the other ones, but not.
Most
not that
important things last. What concert did you go to of the thousands of shows you've seen where you at some point early on went, I was really looking forward to this and this band blows? Got one of those?
I do.
Feel free to name names. Everybody has
I'll
a bad
say
night.
it. Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Oh, sure.
Worst band I've ever seen.
One of the great band names.
Great band name. Great band.
Yeah.
I went, and it was so bad. They played as if they had just met, and just talked about ideas of songs that could happen.
Oh, that's a great way to describe a band. That's awesome. Yeah.
It was truly
art as it happens.
Yeah, it was. In my head, I was like, I can hear this song done well by other people,
By anybody
or
else.
maybe them on another night.
Yeah.
But it was so bad. I actually went on social media looking for backup because I was just like, there has to be other people talking about how bad this is.
There must be a record of this.
Yeah, and I love the band. So
Yeah.
I don't, if there was just some horrible band, I wouldn't say, but like, I was just like, this is absolutely horrible. And I left, a friend of mine the day before was like, hey, it's my birthday, and I didn't tell anyone, but I just beat cancer. I'm having a party.
Wow.
So you got to come. So I'm like, okay, I have to come to that party, but
Sure.
I'm supposed to go to this concert. And I was going to the concert with a friend whose wife just beat cancer, and he hadn't been out in months. So I was like, I can't let him down and not go
Sure.
to the concert.
Yeah.
So I leave my friends who just beat cancer
Yeah.
to go meet my other friend whose wife just beat cancer.
Right.
On the way, he texts me. He's like, hey, buddy, not going to make it.
Oh,
So I
That's good.
go to meet my other
Yeah.
friend that we're both supposed to be our friend, and we go and see this horrible...
that's a doom night.
It was so bad, I didn't even say goodnight to my friends. I'm like, I'm
Sure.
saving myself. I'm
Sure.
out.
I'm done.
Brian
I'm done
Jonestown
with this.
Massacre, part of the great movie Dig with
Yeah.
the Dandy Warhols. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Boy.
I'm familiar with the Dandy Warhols.
But the movie about those two bands, it's called Dig. Track it down. It is extraordinarily great.
you know the
really
list I
is.
have. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put it
yeah.
on the list.
It's
Oh,
really
it's
good. And then
absolutely fantastic.
before I watched it, I was like, well, I'm probably going to side with Brian Jonestown Massacre. But then you
Yeah.
watch it and you're like, no, Dandy
Yeah.
Warhols are
Yeah.
right about everything in
Pretty
this
much.
movie.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's great. Dave Hill, man, it is a pleasure to see you. You are welcome here anytime you're in town, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
and-
I found this shocking, but there are still a few tickets at the Orpheum tonight if you want to go see Dave. You're going to shred and laugh.
I'm going to tell jokes. I'm going to shred, and then Bill Murray and his blood brothers. I don't know. I struggle to say blood. It's like a tongue twister. They come out and they're amazing, and their version of Like a Rolling Stone, Tears.
Really?
It's truly amazing.
Wow.
I love
Bill
that.
sings. But yeah, there's tickets left, which is
Orpheum,
insane.
yeah.
Every show I've done with him has been sold out.
Yeah.
I don't know if AC/DC's getting in our way.
They're sort of a big deal.
I kind of feel like I don't think there's a lot of bumping up. That show was announced like a year ago. You know what I mean? Like the AC/DC thing's been on sale forever.
No, I know. I
think you're steering clear of that audience.
everyone, it better sell out, or I'm going to freak out. I'm going to turf people's lawns.
Going
the
back
cones,
quickly to
too.
English soccer, I'm just picturing like what if the shows got out at the same time and then there was a rumble in the streets? Your audience from the Orpheum versus the U.S. Bank AC/DC on it. I'd like to see that rumble. My money's on the KG veteran, much smaller numbers crowd. The AC/DC
Whoa.
fans will be too drunk.
Yeah, I think we could take them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
That's great.
Especially with the level of athlete you are. You alone, if you were the leader.
Yeah, an amazing physical specimen.
You
I
heard
know.
it right there. I mean, honestly, it's
You can
damned
see it.
impressive. Yeah.
Sitting next to him, you
Nothing
just
I
can
like
feel
more
it.
after a show than a street brawl.
Yeah, no, it's what keeps us young.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks for coming in, brother. It is Minnesota's
Thanks for having
92 KQRS. Hey, guess who's coming up next? Paul Fletcher.
What? More me?
Go figure.
More. You know what the people need? More me.
Yep, that's it.
Gorman in the morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.